Well, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining us again for Worship Wednesday. I have the Korban Millier with me today. He is
nice to be here.
True man of God. I will have to say this, and you get to introduce yourself here in just a moment, but I just have to say just the time that I've been here at Blackhawk, whether it was talking with you through social media because you were in Poland, or on the phone, or getting to finally meet you, have face to face, man, and meet your family. It's just you are you're just a true man of God, man, and I appreciate who you are, and thank you for who you are, man.
Well, thank you for the warm reception.
Yeah. Well, you kind of set the ground and tone for me, even being here, even without knowing it, and so things that you did, I was just able to try to build up on, and so I don't know how I'm doing, but
you're doing great. I love what you're doing, and I remember similar feelings when I arrived back in 2002. My predecessor, man, it was just obvious that there was so much rich stuff, foundation, fertile soil that was laid to build upon. And so, I think that's the way it should be.
Well, as you guys know, as from the past couple times that you've watched Worship Wednesday, we'll have an opportunity to get a little bit of background behind, what we do and who we are. But really just wanted to take this opportunity to get to know Korban a little more. Maybe you know him, but I don't know him like you guys do. So we could just ask some questions and just dig in a little bit.
I'll be an open book.
Open book.
Ask whatever you want.
So you just alluded to transition.
Yeah.
02.
Yeah, if I remember right.
Okay. So you were a young pup.
Oh, yeah.
Back then.
Yep.
So tell me, like, what was that like? And just even considering, coming and fulfilling this role, was it excitement or was it a little bit of fear? Where were you at then?
Well, it was kind of unique. At the very beginning, I was only an intern. I just finished, meaning there was no official job accepted. It was just temporary for the summer between my bachelor's degree and then what I thought would be getting my master's degree in music theory and composition. So it was kind of strange in that regard because I didn't know if I was sticking around or not, kind of really just waiting on the Lord to get clear. And he did. But the environment was really sensitive. Actually, I don't know if you heard about this, but about 6 months before I started my internship, the previous worship pastor was killed in a car accident. Yeah. And so obviously there's just like layers of emotional trauma that people are going through and working through, even when it comes to music and worship and church and this location and that intersection. And I had no idea how to handle any of that, for sure. I knew music and I knew Jesus, and I guess that was enough.
You can't lose right there.
Yeah.
Knowing Jesus and knowing music, that is enough. So was it, you have all that together, the passing of Scott Schindler, and you step in here, you're young, and you know music, you know Jesus. So did it all just kind of click for you, or what was that season like, learning the church and leading?
Oh, man. It was intense, I remember for sure, putting in tons of hours. Yeah. Because what I didn't know was I didn't know Blackhawk and what was normal to them. I tried really hard to, in Scott's memory, as it were, to just kind of hold on to things as much as possible the way they had been. And so that required a huge learning curve for me, leading into things like Christmas programs, or what's the choir going to sing, or who writes the parts for the band. And this was a lot of hours. In hindsight, I think I was really young pup, like you said. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying my best. But looking back, man, I think everybody was really gracious. Allowing me the chance to figure out how to work with volunteers. That was a big thing I didn't really know how to do. And then the other thing, just how to shepherd and lead people. I needed mentorship, and I needed the Word of God to help me understand what it meant to be a pastor. Yeah. Never done that before.
Well, I can tell you, coming in here behind you, I knew right away that there was definitely some big shoes to fill, not just with you. I mean, and you think of the Pete Kobe's, the Scott Schindlers, and then I'm about to call you Kobe because Kobe's the GOAT. I'm talking about Korban though.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Who's Kobe the GOAT?
Oh, Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, like greatest of all time.
Gotcha.
He's a music guy.
Yep. I'm with you now. Kobe the GOAT.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, coming in and knowing all that you know musically.
Yeah.
But then even the part that you begin to grow in from, shepherding a team, and just the many different people that you got to lead through that. I got to hear those stories, man, and I just want you to say, I want to let you know that you impacted a lot of lives, even as a young pup, if you will. Just that Jesus part that you said at the beginning really came through, and the respect and love that people have for the Millers, not just you, but the Millers all together, man, is at a high level, man. And it really is an honor to be able to be in this role as the worship pastor now, knowing the men and women who came before me, and doing the many different things. So yeah, thank you for doing what you do.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about you're at Blackhawk, and you even alluded to something you didn't know if you were leaving. Was God always calling you to the mission field, you believe, or like at the beginning you may have that decision, but you end up in Poland some kind of way? Like, how did that happen?
Exactly. Good question. Well, one thing that's funny is, like, I signed up to be a follower of Jesus. That sounded great, but all this whole like Christian career stuff was really bizarre to me. I just wanted to be a musician, like in the secular field, and be a light. That sounded really cool to me. And so when God was kind of nudging me toward being even a worship pastor, I was like, I never wanted to be a worship pastor. And yet the role was specifically designed for something that the Lord wanted me to do, and that was confirmed, and I loved it, right? Yeah. Well, I felt similarly about going into missions. I never wanted to be a missionary or learn a foreign language or live in a different country. Like, yes, I agree with all the passages in the scripture that say that's a good thing, but I wasn't ready to sign up for, I don't know, some tribal experience. But again, back to the fact of like, well, yeah, Lord, I'm going to sign up to follow you. So if you want me to do something like this, make it really clear. So I think a few factors for me. One, I think that really impacted me was the Gifts That Go stuff that we were doing really grew my heart for the needs around the world. And then shortly after those sorts of things were happening, Tanya and I started the adoption process, ended up going to Ethiopia, adopting Tanash, right? So here we are in a third world environment, or developing world, however you want to say it. But it isn't just like any random city. It's our new daughter's city. It's not just random poverty. It's our new daughter's poverty. And that was a big deal for me and for my wife. So I think God used those things to just kind of stir our hearts to be open to the idea of serving somewhere. But we didn't go back to Ethiopia. We didn't try to start an orphanage because that would so beyond like what the Lord had equipped us and gifted us to do. It didn't make sense. Unbeknownst to all of this, Josiah Ventures, who we had known from years past via my wife's work, they throw like a random phone call our way saying, any chance you want to help us out? Because now we have this music thing going on. And for Tanya and I, it was like so obvious that the Lord had primed us for something. Yeah. We didn't know what, but Josiah Ventures knew the what, a missions environment that connected with our skills and abilities. And it was just something that we had to at least try, having no idea it would mean 7 years and all that it's been.
Wow. How have you, just with raising a family and, in a foreign land, how has that been for you guys? And and then also name all your kids just so everyone knows.
Absolutely. So Maya is 15. Vivi and Tanash are both 13. Tanash is from Ethiopia. they're not twins. That's why they're the same age most of the year. Roman, the lone boy, is only 8 years old. And then we had another one over in Poland. Her name is Prina, and she's 3. So we got 15 down to 3. Love my kids. They're great.
And they love you. I watched Prina, the youngest, come into the worship center this past Sunday, and she just started jumping up and down. It's like the sweetest thing. Like, I love seeing dads love on their kids, and she hadn't even made up to the stage yet, but she's just jumping up and down like, Daddy.
Well, that's because your sound check is so early. I didn't get to see her. I didn't get to see her before. No, yeah, she's pretty sweet, and Tanya, I think, gets a little jealous of me sometimes. Because Prina thinks Dad's pretty amazing.
Wait, what did you mind saying what she said?
Who, Prina?
Yeah, when she gets older.
Oh, right. Just last week she announced that she was going to marry me. So she's making plans. I didn't want to break her heart, so I told her it would be fine.
She's like a dad. You shouldn't break her
If she's 18 and still wants to, then we'll talk.
Yeah. So how's it been, raising them in a foreign land, and I guess it's not as foreign to you guys anymore, but still pretty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still foreign. And no matter how long we're there, we're looked at as foreigners for sure. So I think it's been really challenging, but then also full of really cool surprises, like positive things along the way. Some of the challenges are initially, I felt like everybody was looking at me. Dad, what are we going to do? And I didn't know what to do. And so that just was really challenging for us to just kind of like fumble through that together as a family. A couple of cool surprises along the way, I think, were one, I love that my kids don't feel the pressure to overperform in school because they're doing everything in their second language. It's not a pass to be lazy, but they're learning that life's more important than grades. And that was something that was really hard for me growing up. I got sucked into that group of people that was like, grades. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're an adult and you're like, nobody cares about my grades. So I love that they're learning that. And the other thing that they had too in their language learning process was just the chance to learn humility over and over and over again. Yeah. And that's a hard lesson to learn, but it's so valuable. And I've seen it shape their character to be the foreigner, to be the kid that doesn't know the right answer, to mess up your words, right? Like, everybody was kind and loving to them. So they weren't like in a bad place. They didn't get bullied. They didn't go through any rough stuff. But I think it taught them some pretty good character shaping lessons. Yeah. And so I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome. So you guys are going to be making a transition, right? And I'm sure you've talked about that a lot. What's the excitement level in the house? Nervousness level in the house?
Man, it varies from person to person, from moment to moment. Tanya and I actually just had lunch today, a rare event. We had childcare. I'll take you here. We go out to lunch, and she's literally like tear-filled, like, I don't know if we should do this. It's going to be so hard. What about this and this? And I was like, honey, I just got back from a run, and I said I was so excited because I'm convinced that this is going to be like a character shaping, that we're going to look back on this move as a family someday and just say, if it weren't for this move, we wouldn't have been able to see X, Y, and Z. And most of my excitement was about my older 3 girls, actually. I really think that Maya, Vivi, and Tanash are going to learn some great ministry lessons at their ages, after spending a semester at BCS, to go into school, to go into ministry, mature. I think they're going to learn some great stuff. So, and Tanya started to get excited too. And so it's a mixed bag.
Yeah. I'm sure. I couldn't even imagine it, but I love watching the story unfold and hear bits and pieces here and there. So you get to come back often. Maybe not often, but you've come back at different times, and you get to see the Blackhawk that you received as a young 21-year-old, and but now, with your experience and what you're doing in Poland, get to come back at different times. What do you think of Blackhawk these days, and where is what keeps you hopeful about what's going on?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just speak to like the music ministry, worship stuff, because that's our world.
Yes.
And that's this thing. But man, I just get so excited. I'm super encouraged. Like every time I see new faces serving up there with these amazing talents, like I just love it. You've got awesome set of volunteers that, and then I get to spend time with them because we get to serve together when I'm around, and then I hear their hearts backstage in the green room and hear about their lives, and I'm just like, these are great people, and that gives me a ton of hope. Because it's real easy, I think, in worship ministry to get sucked into, I don't know, the stuff that's just off track, right? Like, oh, we want to be awesome for the sake of awesome, right? Instead of having God-given talents for His glory.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of traps along the way, right? But every time I'm around, and especially this longer visit, I just feel like you guys are doing a great job staying at it and avoiding those pitfalls.
Yeah.
With good people, good talents. It's been really fun.
Yeah, cool. I really love our team, and they love each other.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys get a chance to meet them in the coming weeks as well. So one more question, and this one's more selfishly for me, but want you to answer this. So I have been here for 4 years now, and you got to lead before I did, and I'm sure that there was different nuggets of wisdom that came along the way. So just for me, I'll tell you, when Pastor Kevin talks about wanting a worship pastor that also knows music, I always smile like, yeah, that's me. But it's also intimidating because I do think of those that came before me, and you guys are very much so theory heavy, and I come in and I'm like, what's that word, theory?
Yes.
But I know my music. I love God. But what would be just your advice for someone like me who's has stepped into this and just wants to continue to see it grow?
Yeah. Oh man.
I wish I would have prepped you for all these questions, but I actually like the
It's fine. It's going to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
You know what? I think two things popped into my head, so I just have to pick one. But I think that this is what I want to say. What I do now in Poland, and it's going to connect to you here in a second, is I emphasize to people all the time, no, music is just a tool. Music is just a tool. Why are we really doing this? Because we want people that know Jesus to share Jesus with people that don't. That's the main deal in our evangelistic music outreach stuff. And so I think my advice to you would be, man, leverage the fact that some of that music stuff feels foreign to you, right? Because actually, and it seems counterintuitive, but I don't think worship ministry is about the music. And the minute it is about the music, the priorities get mixed up.
Yeah.
So I think you should keep on doing what you're doing. If you have a music weakness, fine. Partner with somebody where that's their strength. But what you bring to the table is your leadership skills, your shepherding skills to be able to know your flock and help them where they're at and lead them along. The flock on the stage and the flock out in the seats. So yeah, let music be a tool.
Yeah.
And you be a good shepherd to your flock.
Yeah, I receive that from the music side. So you have been trying to give me lessons. Our schedules work and they don't work sometimes, but I have been just with the two main lessons. I've actually been really encouraged. So my goal is by the time you leave here in June is to be able to play just like you.
Okay, great.
Okay, maybe not. But hey, I appreciate it.
If it only takes 2 lessons, we should market that and sell it all over.
Sell it all over. Yeah, that probably won't happen. But hey, thank you again for joining us for Worship Wednesday. As always, you can check the links. We will have our worship set for this week, but you can also listen to all the music that we will be doing here at Blackhawk in the playlist that's down below. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.